Um, yeah, so these are tough times. So I thought I would come on and spend time with you all and do a give you a remote view, and then we're going to do some blitzes. Here is what is likely to happen at this point. As I want to talk about Gaza first. Um, when you look at it as a remote viewer, which is what I've been asked to do, Gaza goes like this. And so it borders Egypt on its southern border. And then Egypt comes up like this. And so you have a southern side, and then you have this port area, so it goes kind of like this, right? So when you go into that port area between Egypt and Gaza, that area right up there, and the water, that is the main area where the transfer of weapons is taking place with help from people who work in the docks, and Egyptian military were taking bribes. And that is the main area where they were bringing in the raw materials. So when I saw that, uh, um, I can tell you where they're headed. So on the Egyptian side, that I believe that's called Port Said. Am I correct on that? Okay, so that's what happened. So the entire area is going to become a military zone too, because every time they pull back, Iran uses these innocent Palestinians as human shields. Then Israel comes out, and then the victims are being told, yes, it's all Israel, right? So you have this back and forth with these victims in the middle, which are the Palestinians. And that's pretty much how you have to view this, right? So Putin paid for a private army to go in. So Hamas started off, it was elected by the people, it was a democratically elected, and it devolved into an Iranian backed terrorist organization. Qatar also, possibly, and other groups funding it, closely linked with Hezbollah, which is another uh, army. So it devolved, and the people don't get to vote. You don't say no to these people. So you have kind of a Stockholm syndrome also that could be happening. So they've got trauma. They are being bombed by Israel. It is a war zone. So now everybody is going to the southern side. So the southern border is the side with Egypt, and we talked about that. Now, when you put yourself in the shoes of Israel and the Israelis, the feeling is you, Egypt, you, the Egyptians, did this to the Palestinian people. The Israelis didn't do this. Egypt and Iran did this to the Palestinian people because you're the ones that allowed that stuff to come in through the port. You allowed foreign fighters to come in, and you allowed the weapons to come in. And it was all manufactured by, it was worked out, the deal was worked out between Iran and Putin approximately 4 months ago, from what I can figure out, 3, 4 months ago. And it was in retaliation for the deal that was being brokered between Saudi Arabia and Israel, which would have been a kick in the butt in terms of trade. Also what's going on with Ukraine and Zelensky, who is being backed by Israel. So all of that has Putin infuriated. And so he has these private armies. He has private armies in the Sudan, and so he reinforced Hamas. That's what happened with Putin. He reinforced them. He brought in more fighters. He increased the numbers. If you go through the film footage, you see many of them are African fighters coming in. They're paid very cheaply. soldiers of fortune. He's bringing in Africa, Chechens, etc. So over the next 3 to 4 days, we could have a catastrophe on the southern border if Egypt doesn't take these people in, because the feeling here is you brought the terrorists to us, and so now you can take the victims. You could also be seeing a response from Turkey because this is an emergency. So ways in which they can evacuate victims would be through Egypt. Egypt should start immediately setting up refugee places. I'm sure World Kitchen will be there with delicious halal meals, but that's probably going to happen on the southern border. I also think Turkey feels open to me, like Erdogan may be willing to take some of the victims. This also opens up maybe Cyprus and some of the other islands a little bit in the area. In the north, possibly some people could go to Lebanon. They can't come to Israel not because they are bad people, and not because we think they're bad people, but because anytime they come, the terrorists follow them and use them. And so the only way these people, until the situation becomes better, the only way these people are going to be safe is if they get out of Dodge for a while. And so that's what I think is going to happen. In terms of the speakership, we have a lot of interesting things happen. They wanted Jim Jordan to come in. I think that's very, very funny. I had thought Scalise was would more likely unite the party, but it looks like they're saying Jim Jordan. Now there's some other person. Forgive me, I don't know his name. He's come out of left field and he is challenging the GOP race, GOP House race. Let's see who that is. I want to make sure I get this. It's definitely Jim Jordan. And new person. They're not covering it, but there's a new face. Jim Jordan is from Ohio. That's interesting because Ohio has been struggling a lot with gerrymandering, but also Georgia Rep. Austin Scott, and that is interesting. I don't know. Georgia, again, is one of those states where it's purple. So you have Ohio, which is red/purple. I think we'll do the Empath prayer and we'll see what's going on. Sound good? Okay. All right. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those we may have strife with. We also pray for those that are in harm's way in war. Pray for the people in Gaza that they get out safely and be protected, and that there be peace throughout the world. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. And we also want to make sure that the bad people get caught and don't hurt any more people. Amen. So many things we can pray for, right? Okay, so let's first look at what's going to happen to the people of God. I'm very worried that they're going to run out of food and supplies while Egypt refuses to open the door. Or that Egypt is only going to be able in an emergency situation to take a few thousand. So we have to just pray for the world to get mobilized. But I'm very worried about it. I'm very worried that this could be a catastrophe within a couple of days. Okay, where they are right now, money is coming in and emergency airplanes. Money is coming in and emergency airplanes. So people are talking, people are wheeling, people are dealing, communities are coming together throughout the world, and they're raising money for the refugees to get emergency food aid, blankets, food. We can also do food to make sure World Kitchen. Absolutely, we can do that for the people of Gaza if that would help everyone feel like they're doing something. But we have here the Page of Pentacles, so that's money and aid is coming to them. And Ten of Pentacles is the family coming together, the legacy. Well, we, the people, are the legacy, right? So we can show compassion, whether it's, as Americans, or me, I'm Israeli American, right? We can show compassion to the innocent victims, but we still understand that the bad people have to be removed. Otherwise, good people, this is really going back to that whole issue of there gets to be a point where we cannot continue to cede land to psychopaths like Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin ordered this hit. Vladimir Putin told these hired terrorists to make it as gruesome as possible and to film it so the whole world would be mortified, so that Mr. Ego could come in on a white horse with his shirt off, right? Vlad is coming to town and I am going to fix everything. I am the hero. You're Vlad the Impaler. You're bloody Vladimir. He's the bloody czar. He's the bloody anti-Semitic czar, and he has ordered a pogrom. And that is how you have to look at this. A pogrom is a hit that the czar or the person in power, he would order to just massacre the Jews in that area, often before a Christian holiday, because the early church believed that Jews, because they didn't believe, we wanted to believe what we wanted to believe, the Christians wanted us to become Christians. And so and they used their Christian faith to believe that Jews were evil. And that is the roots of anti-Semitism in Eastern Europe. It's the Eastern European Church. So that is its whole dynamic of how this extreme Eastern Orthodox sect, which Putin is a part of, is also a part of these history of pogroms against the Jewish people. And so the Jewish people have to look at this and see clearly that this was a pogrom, that this was an ordered hit by the king on a Jewish holiday. When we celebrate the birth of the Torah, right? So we all get together and we dance around and we celebrate the birth of the Torah, which is this idea of God's light in the world, right? So he attempted the attack on a day which, mystically speaking, is created in order to manifest the divine's light in the world through positive actions. Similar to Buddhism, right? It's a similar Kabbalah, Buddhism, Judaism. They're very similar in the sense that we align ourselves with the divine good through good acts, right? So that is Torah, right? It is God's light in physical form, right? So you try to get very close to it, analyze it, look at every single letter, understand what the Hebrew actually means, why is the letter written that way? That kind of intensity of study is because of this concept that the Torah is a living energy of God's light, and by engaging in a relationship with it, you become closer to God. So all of that is mystically going on at the time of this attack, right? This pogrom, this statement that Putin has made, while simultaneously saying, I'm the czar and I can order this. A guy who claims he's a friend of Netanyahu's has ordered this to happen. You cannot help but want to sit down and give Netanyahu Bibi, which means friend, right? Buddy, right? It's his nickname, Buddy. Hey, Buddy. Hey, BB. Hey, Buddy. Short for Habibi, right? Hey, BB, how do you feel about Putin right about now? You can see the horror on his face as it slowly dawns on him and everybody else where the money and who's behind this. There's a new beginning starting for the world. The people are trapped. The people of Gaza are trapped. Look at that. Hostages. Also, there are hostages there. The hostages. This is if you're learning to read, this is the hostage card. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to tell you that. What is above? Empress, which is creative abundance, love, compassion. What the people of Gaza need: love, compassion. Right now, they need help. The Empress, lovers, compassion from the world. We need to separate the innocent Palestinians from these crazy Hamas terrorist people that came in. They were chained to the devil. They need therapy. They need counseling. They need support. It needs to be a new day. They need to build a new community. Maybe someday they'll be able to come back when all this crazy and have a normal life without these crazy people, right? The day will come when they will have a happy family, Palestinians, right, and Jews. We want to. This is the dream of the kibbutz, right? This was originally the kibbutz, right? Those damn socialists, right? The Bernie Sanders, who I think was related to Golda Meir, but they wanted to create a kibbutz of under the Ottoman Empire, where everybody just lived together and created a kind of a communal utopia, and there was no homelessness, etc. And it wasn't a religious basis. They weren't religious people. They were socialist and communist. It was about the communist vision of a new world. So the dream is still alive, people. We don't, come on, man. We can still do it. We're still around, us old liberals. But you have to have law. In order to create this utopia, you got to get the crazy people out, right? We got to get the crazies out. And then Six of Cups, the final outcome, you get to come home, kids. Six of Cups, the land will welcome you back. It will happen someday. Look at that. Six of Cups is the outcome. Pray for me, but it's very bad right now. Many people refuse to help. Two of Swords, not good. Hopes and fears, the people feel lost. Final outcome, they will be given aid. I see Turkey coming in. So scary, bad things coming. Ultimately, the best of humanity will step up to the plate. And in time, people will be able to return back. And the dream is not dead. We will build a utopia together. It can happen. Speaking of dreams of utopia, I feel we need to have a conversation about America and how we can bring America closer together. I was doing a remote about America, and it dawned on me that we have several states that are together, and then we have two states that are not so together, right? So that would be Hawaii, right? It's kind of over there in the South Pacific, right? And then we have in the north, Alaska, which historically we kind of fought with Russia a little bit, right? I feel they're vulnerable. I feel they're vulnerable both politically, and I feel they're both vulnerable when you look stand back at the globe and you look at China and Russia's interest in that area. China moving into the South Seas, Russia moving into the North, cutting new trade areas, routes. We should be nervous. We should be nervous about the political climate, and we should keep our eyes on Hawaii and Alaska, specifically because of those vested interests. All right, so let's look at the GOP House, and specifically, we'll look at Jim Jordan first, and then we'll look at the second guy. The second guy, I had his name, and Austin Scott. Georgia Austin Scott. Okay, great. Austin Scott. All right, Jim Jordan first. Thanks for hanging with me. Jim Jordan first. Be sure and like and subscribe. And if you would like to have a reading with me, please check out the Booksy link below this video. And tell me I look good with my Invisalign in. I only have it for one more week. Yeah, then the permanent veneers, which are going to be white. Hopefully they're not going to be too white. Yeah. Okay, Jim Jordan. I have no idea. My feeling is probably not, because he is a person who brings so much distress. Sobriety. They're saying that what is best for the House right now and what is best for the GOP is sobriety. Spirit is saying sobriety, the temperance card with the sword of truth. So it's a time of sobriety, and they have to be honest with themselves. Again, Queen of Swords, the crossing card, back and forth, Two of Pentacles. They're having real problems with their money, in the sense that evidently their financial donors have pulled back and said, if you don't get your acts together, we're not going to give you any more money. Look at this, Two of Pentacles. I do think it's true the GOP's in financial trouble. They're looking very seriously. They're looking under the hood. There's some kind of an investigation happening inside the House regarding possibly ethics issues. Look at this, an investigation, evidence. Look at that. They believe there are people that are working against Jim Jordan because, according to this information that I'm picking up, they have reason to believe he is corrupted and not they don't feel he should be eligible to be the speaker. Former devil relationship. They have evidence of a contract with the devil that is under investigation inside the House. Daniel Goldman, a couple of other people coming forward, working with moderates in the GOP that want this guy gone and will show evidence. I mean, you can read the cards of where. Oh, Mr. Goldman, you're so naughty. So in a sense, the Democrats are going to be helping a moderate. So you can thank the Democrats for that. So every time they attempt to pick somebody like a Jim Jordan, you can be sure that the Democrats will be helping the moderate Republicans to take him out. So in that sense, we're helping, right? There's a star over it. And transformation. Gossip in the family. Talking in the family. Legacy. No. So let's go to the other guy, this Scott from Georgia. I keep seeing a woman too. I wonder who the woman is. Scott from Georgia. You know, maybe they choose to go with a junior congressman or somebody who has less history, so that individual somebody with less of a history would incur, theoretically, less wrath from, say, either side, right? Extreme Republicans and Democrats. So, hey, we'll just go with someone that has a clean slate. Is that what this guy is? I don't know. Let's take a look. Scott from Georgia, relatively unknown. I see oil around him, the oil business. I see oil refinery and oil industry. I didn't even think that existed in Georgia. Patience and truth, again, same base cards. Truth and patience is over this issue. Truth and patience must prevail. Everyone's got their eyes on the Middle East and on what's going on outside the United States. It's got everybody's focus. It's left everybody confused about the future of our country. We don't even have a freaking functioning House. There's a celebration awaiting the House. Female power here too. And Two of Cups is coming as well. He's stressed out, this Scott individual. He wants to do deals with everybody. He's just like the other guy, trying to get everybody on board, right? But he's also trying to maintain the justice, right? So he's in the same boat as the last guy. And the final outcome is this guy, King of Pentacles. But who's the woman? There's also been a woman that comes up periodically. And I don't know what that's about. Hopefully that'll unfold more. It could be possible that Scott gets the job. Or if not him, another man. But I don't think it's going to be Jim Jordan, because Jim Jordan's cards were not really that great. And in fact, they showed that he was under some kind of investigation, and that investigation, which will be henceforth, will be it'll be coming out soon, and you'll all get to enjoy it, and you'll be like, oh, we love you, Dr. Whimsy, yum yum, and thank you for the candy, and you're welcome. So that's going on as we speak. I can't wait till that blows up. But I'm thinking that King of Pentacles is looking interesting, and we're going to just have to see how it plays out. Yeah. Could be Scott. Who knows? All right. Thank you, everyone. Please be sure and like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. If you need to see me for a reading, you can find my information below. All right. Be well. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.